How you doing, guys? Malik over at Modern Pawn. What we're testing today at the range, we're setting up a Accuracy International 338. This is an AW fluted barrel. We have a different muzzle brake on the end there that's designed for a suppressor, and a Schimdt Bender 5-25 PM2 scope up top. This is an Accuracy International all AI gun. So this is their Accuracy International chassis. Takes the single stack magazines. It's a 5-round single stack magazine. If you're not familiar with Accuracy International, this is probably one of the most absolute bulletproof actions, period. Extremely tough, extremely rugged, smooth as glass, just absolutely butter smooth to work these actions. They have a really nice two-stage trigger on them, so we're clear. The trigger is, I'll pull with the left hand, it is a little springy, maybe half-pound or so take-up right there, and then brakes at the back. Nice quality, fully adjustable trigger, very European-ish as far as how the trigger is set up. The rifle's basically a bolt-action gun. It has a couple of interesting features in it. First of all, the 2.0 action, 2.0 stock right here is a side folder. So there's a button right here. You push the button and the rifle folds to the side. It actually has a little locking button right here. It actually has like a little locking collar and a little button right here. So when you fold it over, it clicks in place, holds it down, pull on it, pops open, snap it in place, locks it shut. One of the nice things about that is you do not need to remove or change your cheek weld position when you want to take the bolt out of the gun. See, when you pull it right here, if you try to push the button on the side, which is a side release, you couldn't get the bolt out of the gun. You push this little button, move it to the side, you push the button now, bolt comes out of the gun. They use on these Accuracy Internationals, they use a 3-lug with a Seiko style claw extractor. 3-position safety at the rear. This right here locks the bolt closed, deactivates the trigger. Middle position, bolt can open and close. The gun is safe. Forward position is obviously fire. Has a firing pin indicator at the back here, so when the firing pin is out, you know when it's in, it's down. Really world-class rifle right here. This model right here has the upgraded butt spike in the back. This guy right here is spring-loaded. There's a little twisty collar right here for fine adjustment, and a pull collar that kind of shoots it out, and so you get in general position and then fine-tune it from there. Very nice feature back here. The cheek is fully adjustable. You can move this up and down, and you can actually slide it in and out as well with some Allen wrenches. You loosen that up, slide it in and out, and then underneath here, you can slide it back and forth. It uses a Schimdt system to adjust the length of pull. Has some HK-style hooks for attaching a sling. These rifles, if you've never had a chance to shoot one, are really, really world-class. They're kind of pricey, but hey, you know what? The best cost money. In the front right here, it uses a fast-attach Parker Hale-style bipod, which honestly I'm not a huge fan of. These Parker Hales are kind of floppy in my opinion. They go on nice and easy, and they're pretty damn rugged, but this right here drives me nuts. Very floppy in the front. They just flop side to side. It's kind of aggravating. You can't lock out the bipod so that it'll stay stationary, but I mean, these things are designed to like shoot on machine guns and stuff, so they're super rugged. They're really well, overbuilt, but they are missing that swivel feature that I think you really need. I do think you can put a Harris bipod on this stud right here. You can clamp one on there. Harris bipod. What I'm used to shooting. Glass up top, again, top of the line, PM2 from Schimdt Bender, 5-25, first focal plane. World-class glass. Doesn't get much better than that. We're going to test it out with some Black Hills. This is 250 grain Sierra Match Kings. So the 250 grain Sierras with the factory red box Black Hills. This stuff normally shoots really, really well. Never had any problem with it not shooting well. What we're going to do, we're going to use a Magneto speed chronograph the rifle, get an approximate foot per second standard deviation out of this. We're going to use iPhone and a program called Ballistic to build a range card, and we're going to shoot it from 100 yards out to 800 yards, see how the range card lays out just off the numbers, and see how it works. Hey guys, if you're not familiar with the Magneto speed, I did a review on it. It's a very cool chronograph. It uses a magnetic bayonet where it reads the bullet as it's coming over this little diving board looking thing right here, and then it gives you a little printout right here. You don't have to set up the stuff all the way down the range and shoot through the hoops and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about lighting or clouds or all that stuff. Very cool thing. I'll put a link to the Magneto speed review on here. We shot the Magneto speed, we shot the rifle with the Magneto speed, and we ended up with an average of 2,991 feet per second with the standard deviation of 18 feet per second. Not unbelievable on the standard deviation. I normally like to see the standard deviation closer to 10, but for factory loaded ammo that's not super expensive, that's pretty good in my opinion. We're going to use the 2991 in the Ballistic software and see what that gives us as a range card. All right guys, what we did is chronoed the rifle. We took some measurements, height over bore of the scope to the bore of the rifle, took some atmospheric conditions off the weather from the iPhone, plugged them in, and we built a range card. And we're using a program by Peak Studios called Ballistic. You can get it on the App Store. I don't know if it's available for Android, but it's definitely available for iPhone. From Peak Studios, Ballistic. Pretty badass little app. We use it all the time. We're going to see how it shoots 800 yards. We got a little bit of wind. We're going to try and read the wind, dial all that in, and send them down range. We're going to start at 100, move all the way down from 100 to 800 and 100 yard increments, see how it works. All right guys, using the Ballistic Calculator, after zeroing the scope at 100 yards, we do a dead on 0 at 100. We had, it looked like at 500 yards, we were at 2.4 mils. It hit, we clicked it in, dead center of mass, no problem. At 600 yards, we were 3.2 mils. Again, center of mass, no problem. 700, we were 4.1. And at 800, it was 5.1. So we put in 5.1 mils, pulled the trigger, sent them down range. We shot a 3-shot group. We do have a little bit of wind, and we do have a little standard deviation, you know, more variables than just the chrono and the calculator. But we hit nice round center plates. We're going to drive down, see how tight they were from the glass and the spotting scope. It looks like one nice little smear at 800. If you never shot at 800 yards, it's pretty far to see holes and that kind of stuff. So we're shooting a big piece of metal that's got paint, and when you hit it, the paint kind of blasts off a little bit. It was nice loud ping with the 338 at 800 yards. We're going to drive down in the Suburban and see how it looks. All right, took the Suburban, drove down to the steel plate. We're at 800 yards. We've got about a 15-mile-an-hour wind. It's coming from about the 10 o'clock position. Straight at us, a little bit pushing it a little bit from left to right. 800 yard shot with the Accuracy International AIAW in 338. We were shooting the Schimdt and Bender. This is our 3-shot group right here, guys. I was aiming center of mass right here, so my range card might be just a touch, maybe just a click high from what it needed to be. But that right there is a 3-shot group at 800 yards. I didn't bring a measuring tape with me, but we're going to measure this and we'll get you a number on exactly how big that is. But it's less than 4 inches just looking at it. So we're under a half MOA at 800 yards with wind. We were shooting off of a Parker Hale bipod, which is not the most sturdy bench style bipod, and we were shooting off a rear monopod in the back. So in my opinion, not the most ideal conditions for shooting, the most stable condition. I did have to hold it pretty tight to get that group to go down there. That's Sierra Match Kings right there, loaded by Black Hills, 250 grain Sierra Match Kings, loaded by Black Hills. Really phenomenal grouping with this much wind, sitting in a chair, little floppy bipod. 800 yards, that's impressive. All right, guys, 338, 800 yards. We measured the group. We were at 3 inches, a 3-shot, 3-inch group at 800 yards. That's 0.375 MOA with wind, a little bit of a swivelly bipod, not the most ideal shooting position, but I mean, well under a 1/2 inch at 800 yards. Phenomenal grouping. That's again, Black Hills ammunition. That wasn't hand loads. That was just right off the rack. 250 grain Sierras from Black Hills. The Schimdt and Bender really does a good job showing you what's going on downrange. The 338 from Accuracy International, absolute pleasure to shoot. This is Malik Afram, guys, over at Modern Pawn. Stay safe.